Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Clark in the Center for Weight Loss Success. And tonight on Losing Weight USA, we're going to talk about body composition and how it relates to your metabolism. I talk, literally at the end of every one of these webinars and say, get your body composition checked. And the reason is that's the reasoning behind that we're going to go through tonight. So stay tuned here. Let me get our slides up and running. For me anyway. So here's the guy that say the official welcome. Welcome to welcome. What is this? Real world. Welcome to Losing Weight USA. This is real time. Okay. Answers to your weight loss questions, latest updates in weight loss research, a little bit of expert advice, hopefully to help you increase your efforts. It gives you direct access to me, as well as you should be receiving the health tips and recipes via the membership portal. Each webinar is going to last about 30 minutes or so. If you have questions, I encourage you to type them in during the presentation. We'll get to them at the end as time permits. So we typically will make time if we need to. If you think of things after we're all done, just give us a yell here at the Center for Weight Loss Success. The email is success@cfwls.com. The phone number 757-873 1880. All right, so body composition. Let's get us flipped over to the slides here. All right, body composition analysis, or BCA. All right, I've got a printout there, and on the slide there, I know it's hard to read, but what I'm going to do is kind of go over a little bit about what's on this body composition analysis sheet, and discuss a little bit of what does it all mean. I'll kind of break that. That's kind of a printout of an entire sheet there on the right there, but I'm going to kind of zoom in on some of this on the top and the middle and the bottom section there. And so when you come in and get your body comp done, you'll get a printout like this. Now it's not exactly like this, because I'm going to show you here in a minute. You've got a few added things on the newest the printout there. All right, so why is it important? Well, body composition, along with some blood work, really helps determine your eating plan. And when I sit down with someone kind of going over what is their eating plan, I do, if you've sat down with me to try to figure this out, either in the medical weight loss program or just consultations about kind of metabolic checkups type of thing, we use your body composition to help figure out kind of an eating plan. The most important numbers on this body composition really are two things. Is your weight, your fat-free mass, which is the lean body mass. Lean body mass, fat-free mass, those are interchangeable terms. So you obviously want to check your weight. What is your lean body mass? And then also kind of looking at the body fat percentage too. We'll talk about that. And so we're going to break this sheet down, kind of looking at the top, the middle, and the bottom of it, and kind of go through that. And what do the things mean that are written on there? All right, so we're going to start at this top section. Now, if you've been in over the last year and a half, we have a new body count, it's about a year, I guess, body count machine, which then can take that lean body mass, the fat-free mass, and we can break it down further. And the computer machine, and we just have an upgraded software and a computer to machine. It's an updated machine, but what they've done is update the software as well. And with that, then they can take that fat-free mass or lean body mass and divide it out further into kind of what is the water weight and what is the muscle mass. Now, in my mind, there's really no good reason to do that. It might be interesting numbers, but there's really no good reason to do that, because the water and the actual muscle mass itself, they don't live independently. Okay. Muscle mass without water is jerky. Okay, well, we don't live that way. But if you take the pounds of water and you take the pounds of muscle mass and you add them together, you will get the fat-free mass. And it's really the fat-free mass or lean body mass is probably a more important number there. So kind of don't get too, concerned if, and you're looking at your body composition sheet, if it's a relatively new one, a relatively recent one, then you may actually have a couple extra numbers, but the important numbers are what we're going over right here. So obviously, as I mentioned earlier, weight's very important. Now, this is the one thing you can measure at home, okay, or just about anywhere. You can step on a scale and get your weight. And typically, we on the sheet, the way the computer analyzes it, it does it in both pounds and kilograms. Now, as Americans, we typically don't think in metric units. So ignore all the metric units on these sheets. So we look at it in pounds. Body fat percentage, the next line down is kind of total body fat. And the important number really to look at is not so much the pounds of body fat, but actually the percentage of the weight that's body fat. So in this example then, okay, the total body fat was, if you look at the pounds, it's 36.8, but that really doesn't mean a whole lot. What's probably more important, what's the percentage of that 181.5 pounds? How much of it is fat? And in this instance, it's 20.8%. Okay. Now, fat-free mass, okay, I generally like you to actually look at the pounds because it's the number of pounds of this lean, but not so much the percentage, because literally the difference is going to be, total body fat. If it's 20%, well, the fat-free mass then will be 80%. It's like, okay, it's going to add up to 100, right? But, okay, the fat-free mass, it's not really a percentage that we're concerned of. What we're really concerned about is what's the number of pounds of lean body mass, because it's actually each pound of lean body. This is what drives your overall metabolism. A percentage doesn't drive your overall metabolism. It's the actual number. It's the total volume, or what is that? How much lean body mass, the total weight of your lean body mass, that's what drives your overall metabolism. So fat-free mass is lean body mass. So when it says fat-free mass, that, interchangeable terms, lean body mass and fat-free mass. And again, this is directly related to your overall metabolism. The more lean body mass you have, the higher your metabolism. The next line now is kind of body water, and the body water gives us an idea of how hydrated you are. So this is kind of total body water there. So if you're at, usually almost 2/3 of the human body is, it's like the normal human anatomy, about 2/3 of our body is actually water weight. Now, the more fat we have, typically the less water weight, the less percentage of water weight that will be. Okay, because obviously fat, water don't mix very well. So the body water, though, is probably the more important number, and it gives us an idea of what is your overall hydration status. Body mass index is just a height weight thing. So it's a calculation based on height and weight. And it really has nothing to do with body composition. But the reason we look at body mass index is because it's a health screening number. Okay, when I say health screening, typically at the higher someone's body mass index is, typically the more likely they are to have health problems. And what we look at then is when I talk with someone about goals, if they can try to get their body mass index below 30, technically a body mass index of 30 is still over, it's basically obese. So anything 30 and above is obese, but below 30. So if you can break 30, that technically means you're still overweight, but we don't see health deterioration till 30 and above. And so as far as weight loss goals or body mass index goals, I like people looking at trying to break 30. In this instance, okay, then this example here, the body mass index is 24. All right, so that's the top part of that kind of body composition analysis. Looking at that middle section, okay, the middle section there's going to be a line in there that says target weight. And the reason this has any importance, okay, now target weight in my mind doesn't mean a whole lot. Basically, what someone ought to weigh when we start talking about weight loss goals and things like that, what someone ought to weigh is where do they feel good, where are they healthy, and what's maintainable. Okay? And sometimes we forget that last one because weight maintenance is a very important part of all this. Sometimes people want to drive the number so low, the weight number so low that one, they don't feel that great when they get there. And number two is there's no way they're ever going to maintain that. So they kind of just, oh, they drive this weight down, yeah, it touches, and then they start heading the other direction. And sometimes when you start heading the other direction, it's hard to turn that off. Okay? So weight maintenance should be an important part of any goal. We talked about goals last time. Okay, goals with plans. All right, so this target weight though, how did it come up with this target weight? Well, the way the computer does that, it looks at the number of pounds of lean body mass or fat-free mass. So it takes that number of pounds of lean body mass and then adds a healthy amount of fat to it. That's how it figured it out. Okay, so kind of, I think that the previous example, lean body mass is like 140, and therefore they add a healthy amount of fat, and that puts it in that 161, 172 range. So for everyone, it's going to be a different number. But you may notice when you come get your body composition done, is that, gee, my target weight changes. And it will change because every time you step on it, the computer utilizes that fat-free mass, or that it utilizes that lean body mass number, the number of pounds of lean body mass that you have. The computer takes that, adds a healthy amount of fat to it, and comes up with this range. So depending on how, what your weight loss is, the number is going to change. And that's why we talk about preserving that lean body mass. You want to keep as much lean body mass as possible. That target weight, if you keep that lean body mass stable, that target weight stays stable. Now, if you can actually increase your lean body mass, which is what bodybuilders do, kind of they're weightlifting, they're kind of working out like crazy. If you can increase that lean body mass, you'll notice that, hey, the target weight actually goes up. Okay, and you can weigh more and still be very healthy. Because it's again what the computer is thinking. Okay? If a computer can think, what a computer is thinking when it says target weight is kind of what would be a healthy weight. All right, the body water norms. Okay, again, this was the hydration status. Oop, I did maybe need to back that up there. Yeah, let me back that up there. So body water norms gives you the estimate of hydration. So you'll see that in that midsection there. It's kind of in that left part of that midsection. They have a little chart there. It looks like, percent body fat, and they have total body water norms. And so it's an estimate of hydration. And what you need to do is look back at the top part of that initial thing. So you look at the body fat percentage. Now in this example, the body fat percentage was 20. It was 20.8 or something like that. So you look at that percent body fat range, and the third one down is 20 to 29. And so then you would expect the total body norms or total body water norms to be 59 to 54%. Now, if you remember back from that first time, it actually said, gee, it was 60%. So is that good or bad? That basically just means it's well hydrated. So it actually is a hair above that. So hydration status was actually good. It's only a concern if that your body the water norms are less than what that range should be. So it's just an estimate of hydration. Now, body fat ranges, that's that kind of way over on the side. I usually tell people ignore that because the way these originally were set up are for athletes. Okay? So body fat ranges, athletic 6 to 13%, normal 14 to 19%, sedentary 20% or more. Well, there are a lot of athletes, especially female athletes, that are very athletic, and their body fat percentage is going to be in the mid 20s. And they're very athletic. So these were, I don't know where they came with these were world-class athletes. I don't know where they came up with these numbers from. And so I usually tell people, ignore those. Again, I like people, when I can go back to that goal discussion that I had just a minute ago, and I said breaking 30 on body mass index. Now, the second goal I like people to push for, kind of looking at that body composition, is breaking 30 on that body fat percentage. So first, break 30 in that body mass index, then work on breaking 30 of that body fat percentage. Good goal to keep in mind. All right. Now we're going to move on to that kind of the lower, if you want to say the lower third, the very bottom of the thing. And it gives the computer machine is it's trying to estimate your resting energy expenditure. And what resting energy expenditure basically means is your basal metabolism. And when I say basal metabolism, in theory, what that means is how many calories does it take to keep you at that weight that was recorded at the top. So in this example, I think it was 181 pounds was up the top. So in theory, to keep that 181 pounds, it takes 1729 calories per day. And that would be basal metabolism. Now, the problem here is that the computer, when it's trying to figure this out, is assuming your average. And that's where the problem comes in, especially with our surgical patients, because what we find is with our surgical patients, part of the reason they may have required surgery is that typically their metabolism runs much lower than average. And so if we're assuming your average and you run much lower than average, then this isn't going to do you very much good, and it's not a very accurate estimation of there. So part of the problem with looking at or trying to estimate basal metabolism is the computer machine is assuming that you're average. But REE means your basal metabolism. So the basal metabolism in theory again is the number of calories to keep you at your present weight. Now, again, there was a problem with that whole calculation, but okay, if someone's trying to lose weight, let's just say that calculation was accurate, that you are average, okay, then in order to lose weight, you have to take in fewer calories. Okay. Now, just from a math perspective, in order to get rid of a pound of fat, you have to get rid of about 3,500 calories. So if you're trying to lose a pound a week, okay, then you've got to get rid of 3,500 calories in a week's period of time, or about 500 calories a day. So 500 calories times 7, that's a week. Okay, that would be 3,500 calories in a week. Okay, so in theory, again, so if you take that resting energy expenditure, subtract off 500 calories. Okay, so in this instance, 1729 minus 500, that puts you in 1229, or about 1,200 calories. So in theory there, if you would be losing about a pound a week if you are in that caloric range. Now, for most of our surgical patients, I'd say ignore that calculation because you're not average. And what my experience has been, especially for women, if they're taking 1,200 calories in, they're gaining weight. They're struggling. For men, it's about 1,600 calories. They're struggling. So it doesn't work well. All right, for someone who's had surgery. Okay, so kind of reviewing then the body composition analysis, the most important numbers then I'm going to give you. This is what I think are the most important numbers. One is your weight. Okay, and that's something you can measure at home. And as we talked about last time, routinely weighing yourself, very important. I encourage people weigh almost daily. You should do it early in the morning. If you don't do it early in the morning, don't bother. Just wait till the next day. So checking your weight, body fat percentage. Again, if you're looking at goals, try to break 30. Fat-free mass, which is also lean body mass, they're interchangeable terms, and it's directly related to your metabolism. The more lean body mass you have, the higher your metabolism. And kind of the simplified version of why it's kind of the more muscle mass you have, the higher your metabolism. Again, muscle mass without water though is jerky, so it's not really, if you just take the water out of the muscle, that doesn't really mean that someone who has less muscle that's dried, okay, well, that was jerky, it doesn't necessarily mean that they would have had less muscle if you added all the water back in it. They may have had actually more muscle, and it's because it's not a direct relationship there. You take all the water, so don't get too excited about looking at the muscle mass for in the newer print offs there. But the whole fat-free mass or whole lean body mass is directly related to your metabolism. So the more lean body mass you have, the higher your metabolism. All right, so some tips for success, and you want to be keeping track of your body composition. Very important during a weight loss plan. I encourage people to check their body composition routinely. There's no reason to check it daily, but you should check it routinely. So anytime you're in the office, I'd encourage you to check it. About once a week at the most is what you need. Once every few weeks though, and it's really important, and I didn't mention this earlier, it's really important to keep an eye on trends. Every once in a while, you'll come in and you'll get, gee, I got some weird numbers, and that, gee, look at my lean body mass dropped way down, or my lean body mass went way up, and I didn't really do a whole lot different. Well, very likely it's a misread on the computer's part, and either whether it was contact with your hands, um, on when you're gripping that thing, whether there was something on where you're gripping that thing, and so you're not getting the right contact there. Because basically what it's doing is putting a very slight current through you, and it can check the resistance of all that, and subsequently that's how it figures out body composition. So watch trends, don't watch any one particular number. Okay? All right, so get it done routinely. Lean body mass is directly related to your metabolism. You want to preserve lean body mass, and you do that with getting in your protein, as well as then the exercise, and the best exercise is weight training for that. Resting energy expenditure can give an estimate, but unfortunately it assumes you're average. So, but if you are average, it actually can give you a good estimate of the calorie amount to use for weight loss. Okay. But if you have questions, if you have problems, if you're confused at all, just give us a yell. Obviously, if you're in here getting your body comp done, just ask somebody. We have handouts to kind of go over that, but don't hesitate to just ask somebody. Or if I'm sitting down with you in the near future, I'm happy to go over it with you. And I'm going to go over with you, these are the important numbers, what to keep an eye on. Need a jump start? Okay, you can get the jump start diets. Obviously, this is something that we encourage people to do if they're struggling. Kind of go back to the beginning. It's kind of, you can utilize some of the shake diets if you're out there just wanting to lose 15, 20 pounds. It can work very nicely. Um, we see people lose 8 to 25 pounds in just 2 weeks. And some one of doing it over and over. We've got people that have lost close to 100 pounds just doing that kind of intermittently, switching between kind of the mini jump start and using the jump start plan. All right, questions. We kind of covered that relatively quickly. Just wanted to make sure kind of people understand about that body composition sheet. It's very important, get some very important numbers on there, some good information, and encourage you get used to checking it and get used to utilizing it to help you. All right, so if kind of you think of any questions, just give us a yell here at the Center for Weight Loss Success. Obviously, we're here to answer those questions. So stop by, get your body comp done. Gee, I didn't say that enough today, did I? Log into the membership portal. You should be receiving the weight loss tips and weekly recipes. Tune in each Tuesday, 6 o'clock for the next webinar. Watch your email for the invite and link. And remember, it's your life. Make it a healthy one. Have a good evening, everyone.